What is good? This is Ahead of the Spread presented by Wager Talk, where we check out the open numbers and notable line movements and discuss key matchups and angles for the next day so you have an early edge for tomorrow's games. I'm Ronald Cabang. We got Skee Profit here with me today. 7 games for tomorrow. Went through a few of them, didn't really see much in a couple of them, so we might skip a couple games, but we'll dive into the ones that we did get some angles on for the most part. So, today, just recap today. Went 2-2. Overall, the lost the Blazers on the in the last couple of seconds. Keontae George hit a couple back-to-back threes to mess up that cover. But other than that, had the Hornets game under. Had Detroit and then lost the Brooklyn cover against Washington. Ski, how are things today? Or yeah, how what were you on today, and how did things go?
I had a bad day. I'm extremely annoyed about it. I went 1-3, and I'm not happy. So I need to do better.
Gotta do better. I mean, we talk about it though, Ski. I mean, we break down the games really well. For some reason, we just get a little bit unlucky because the ones that we end up
I
not
didn't. I
betting.
didn't take the Nuggets. The Nuggets. That was easy, bro. I could
That
have.
was an easy one, yeah. So the Nuggets one for sure, because I also looked at the Pacers team total under. We talked about Philly staying under their team total or struggling as a home favorite. Miami and Atlanta under. All these things did really well, and I didn't bet those. So I wish we we took the right angles, but we'll get it back. We'll get it back tomorrow. Hopefully, 7 games on the board. We'll get the screen up here and get through the games. So we got odds logic here for the NBA slate tomorrow. If you guys are interested in odds logic, we have a link in the description below to try it out. You can customize your books, your injuries, alerts, and all that stuff here in the settings. So if you're interested in that, check that out. First game up on the board, Boston and Toronto. Boston double-digit favorites on the road here, up to minus 11 and a half. Total 226 and a half at open has gone up to 227 at a couple books, the highest. Still can get a 226 and a half at a couple places. Injuries, we'll go to Boston first. We got Tillman upgraded to available. Cornette and Drew Holiday are out, and then Horford is questionable. And then on the Toronto side, you got Pirtle is questionable, and then Brandon Ingram continues to be out. From the on the moneyballer.com, the situational notes, you got in-season revenge fear for the Celtics, double-digit in-season revenge, first game of back-to-back for both teams. A letdown spot on the Raptors side that did beat the Suns outright as home dogs a couple nights ago. This is actually, Celtics obviously they haven't lost too many times, but this is the only team that they lost to by double digits. Ski, do you think this is a game that they look back on? I know it's just the Raptors who are a lowly 18-39. Do they take this one seriously? Get their lick back on the double digit in season revenge?
I think they'll remember it. The thing is, Boston's been winning games and been winning by like 13 plus every single game.
Hmm.
So are they winning all these games by that margin because they're extremely motivated, or just because they're that good? That's the first thing that comes to my mind. But I do think they'll be motivated to get a little bit of revenge. They're also chasing Cleveland in the standings, and like I said, all their wins have been by big margins lately. So it's a Celtics or pass spot for me. Um, Raptors, I feel like at least I feel like they had what they did is cover versus Suns, but
Yeah. Yeah.
feel like I've seen them lose by some big margins lately too. So it's Celtics or pass.
That makes sense to me. Also, you talk about so the revenge angle. You got the letdown spot. One way that I was looking from a total perspective, though, Ski, if you look at the pace here in the last 10 games, both in the top, oh sorry, in the bottom seven or bottom 6 or 7 in pace of play. So slow pace teams, both teams defensively pretty strong here as well. And then one thing that you look at from a Celtics perspective, majority of their shots come from the 3 point, especially specifically above the break threes. But look at the defense from the above the break threes on the Raptors side, 31.4 there. And then you look at defense, obviously on the Celtics side, sixth in defensive rating, 23rd in offensive rating for the Raptors. I don't think the Raptors can score enough. If they do somehow cover, it would be because they limit the Celtics on the 3 point above the break threes. And if they do that, I think this game should go under. One of the things, if you look at the revenge angle, right? If we go to Killer Sports real quick, go to team equals Celtics, you go PL and P. The revenge angle here, in season revenge, 6-1 ATS. Sorry, 6-1 straight up, 5-2 ATS, 4-3 to the under. They show up defensively. Opponents are 5-2 to the team total under, but they did go into OT here, so they probably should have been 6-1. But if you look at the opposite side, you go to Raptors, and then against teams that they beat, 6-0 to the under in that situation. So to me, following that trend and also the past 10 games and the pace of play and defense, how the X's and O's work, I think the under is a strong play for me. Any thought on the total there? I know you talked about the side, but the thought process behind that under right there.
It makes sense to me. Boston is capable and they're motivated of clamping up anybody. And just looking at what they've been doing lately, I mean, they only allowed, well, I mean, 105, 104,
Yep.
103, 85, 104. Yeah, I could absolutely see Toronto struggling to score in this game. Will Boston struggle to score? I'm not sure, but we'll see. I can understand still.
Yeah. All right, let's get to game two here. So we got Cleveland and Orlando. This is actually one of the games that I didn't really like. Obviously, so yeah, Cleveland minus 5.5, going up to minus 7 at the highest at circa about -6.5 across the board. Total 225.5 has come down as low as 223.5. This is a double digit in season revenge for the Magic side, but from an ATS perspective, Cavs strong on the season, 17-9 ATS. And then if you look at the Magic side, 4-1 ATS as home dogs. And then like from a total perspective, the Magic 8-1 to the under as home dogs, right? And then if you look at the Cavs, they're 15-7 to the over when they're on the road. So a lot of things kind of just counterbalancing each other. So I was gonna stay off of this one, Skee, but do you have any thoughts on this one?
I'm curious if Darius Garland is going to play. Um, he's questionable for tomorrow. When I think about this game, Orlando, they're a team that not the best shooting team. Kind of
Mhm.
wants to score more inside, and Cleveland has a lot of rim protection. So I don't think that bodes well for Orlando. And on the flip side, Orlando is a really good defensive team. So without Garland, if he misses, Cleveland could really struggle to score too. I think under will be the play I prefer in this game. It looks like that's the way the market is moving as well.
Got you. All right. So if we go, the market's moving to the under 225 down to 223. The interesting thing, just because you called it out, I looked up Darius Garland when he's not playing. Some reason they're 3-0 straight up, 2-0 ATS, 3-0 to the over, but their defense is solid, so they limit their opponents for the most part. So it could be a situation, but like you said, Magic's defense is strong regardless, and they play a slow pace. So I can see why the under, but a possible pivot could be just Orlando continuing to struggle offensively, and take the Magic team total under as well. Either way, though, the under seems like the solid way to go. All right, let's go to the next game here. We got Phoenix and Memphis. We got Memphis opening up at -8, has moved to 8.5 at some places. Total 244 has jumped up to 246.5 at circa, but other places you can still get 245 or 244.5. Injuries, we got Phoenix. Monte Morris questionable. And if we go to Memphis, I think I saw clean. Yeah, injury report is clean. So if we go to moneyballer.com. You got in-season revenge on the Sun side. They also have the bounce back spot. They did lose outright to Toronto. Third game in 4 nights, fourth game in six. So some fatigue there. Grizzlies side, just fourth game in 6 nights. They have been traveling 3 straight games, and then they have gone, and this is their first game home off of that road trip. What are your thoughts on this one, Ski?
No way that anybody can at this point. It's just certain teams. Getting to the point where I'm done betting. Or
Yeah,
I'm done even looking at them. And the Suns are one of those teams. Um, I don't think those guys. I'm not. How do I say? Like I'm not sure that those guys still want to be together or play for each other or I
yeah,
just don't like what I'm seeing from Phoenix. Ever since all the stuff at the trade deadline, then you want to trade Bill, then you can't trade Bill, so let's just trade Durant. I just don't think the chemistry and everything over there is good right now for
yeah.
Phoenix. So because of that, it's Memphis or nothing for me. And I know Memphis will play with pace, so maybe a slight lean to over.
Got you. Yeah, I agree with the Grizzlies here. I mean, just looking at the ATS numbers, 19 and 37 ATS on the season for the Suns, and the opposite, basically 35-21 for the Grizzlies. And then it's even better when you look at their current situations, right? Home favorite 16 and 8, road dog 4 and 9 ATS. The discrepancy is still there. And then if you look at the last 10 games, from a X and O's perspective, uh, you look at the defensive rating here, dude. The Suns are dead last in defensive rating. I mean, I, I can't turnover rate forced 29th, right? Defensive rebounds dead last. Second chance points is going to be huge for the Grizzlies right there. And if you look at whatever advantage the Suns have, the only thing they have is the mid-range game, which is that's where they're most efficient. But I mean, they're not really scoring that many points per game from the mid-range. So I would think that it's still the Grizzlies. I know that the number's at what, -8, going up to 8.5. I mean, this seems like a spot where the Grizzlies could probably win by double digits, right? So definitely agree with you on the Grizzlies side. Let's go to the Bucks and Houston. Houston -4 at open, -4.5 at most books right now. The total 228 has come down to 226.5, pretty much across the board. Still got a 227 at Pinnacle. If we go to injuries, we'll go to Milwaukee. We got Pat Connaughton out. Portis is serving his suspension, and then Houston. So bunch of questionables. No one out. So Van Vliet questionable, Jason Tate, and then Brooks questionable. We go to the moneyballer.com here. Fourth game in 6 night for the Bucks. A lot of positive situations here for the Rockets. They do have the in-season revenge. They are more rested, the more rested team. Bounce back spot. They did lose to the Jazz by 8 as the 8-point favorites. But this is the first game of back-to-back games. They do have in-state rivals Spurs on deck here. What are your thoughts on this one, Ski?
A lot of people on the injury report. That always makes it tough.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for this Bucks side, it looks like they played in Washington, then they went to Miami. Now they're gonna go to Houston before returning back home. I don't know. I kind of feel like there's a lot of traveling going on for this Milwaukee team.
Yeah.
Houston could get Van Fleet back. I mean, I've talked about this Houston team. I think he's a guy they absolutely need to help close games.
Mm-hmm.
It's just some other guys on that team that I don't trust. So if you can get a mostly healthy Rockets team here, I probably would look towards them first half. Like if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of a play.
Yeah.
First half, especially. Um, yeah, I mean it's just a lean. I'll lean first half Rockets.
Yeah, I also lean the Rockets. I some stuff are pointing towards the full game here. Just from an ATS perspective, you have the Rockets in the first leg of back-to-back games. Seems like they're pretty solid in that spot. 9-4 ATS, and then if you look at the Bucks, who are less rested, they're 3-12 ATS. For the most part, it's their uh the Rockets struggling on the defense side of the ball on that first leg of back to back games, but their offense is really solid, 10-3 right there. So most of the time when I'm looking at it, is really just kind of focusing in on the Rockets. I know you mentioned first half specifically, but we did it last time where they did I think they did cover the first half, but they also covered the full game. I think the way that you were looking at it was Green really struggling to close out games, but like you said, with Van Vliet in there, I feel like it's just going to help out a little bit more. Jabari Smith came back and he helped out too on the offensive side of the ball. So I do think that not only the first half, but probably the full game as well in this spot here for the Rockets. All
I
right,
can
so we
see it.
got
Maybe even team total too. I mean, I'm
you
looking
think the
here.
team total over?
Rockets first was this first of a back to back, 9-4 to the over on their team total.
Yep.
Bucks at a rest disadvantage, 10-5 to their
Yep.
opponent team total over. Um
That's like yeah,
Getting
Rockets.
Van Fleet back should help the offense. I don't know. Seems like that could be worth a look.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Rockets team total over. That way you can kind of get away from the spread and just focus on their offense improving. Um, yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. So Rockets team total over the lean there. All right, so we got three more games on the board here. We got Spurs and Pelicans. Pelicans minus 2.5 down to 2 at most places. The total 237.5 at open has come up to a couple spots to 238 or 238.5, but for the most part, 237.5 is still available. Injuries. Spurs. Wembanyama is the only person out there, and then the Pelican side. All right, same guys out for the rest of the season. So we go from to the moneybar.com here. In season revenge, double digit in season revenge for the Spurs. First game of back to back, fourth game in 6 nights for the Spurs. They do have Houston tomorrow. Pelicans just beat these guys by what, 18 a couple nights ago. I mean, do you think they do it again, or the Spurs get their revenge here?
I want nothing to do with this game,
I
especially
don't either.
after a day like today. Like after I just had to watch Hornets and Wizards, and I'm not getting involved in another game like that one, like this one. So
Another one
pass.
of these ugly games, yeah. So I will pass on this one. Only thing that I would say that was notable from a trend perspective, if you look at Pelicans as home favorites, opponents are 8-1 to their team total over. My so that would be the only thing that I could say from a trend perspective that would be anything noteworthy. All right, let's go on to the next one here. The Mavs and the Lakers. This one has a lot of things going on here, especially with the trade deadline. So, 8.5 at open for the Lakers at home. Most places have gone down to -8. Cancel. There are still a couple 8.5s. If you look at the total, 230.5 has come down. Um, Actually, this is kind of all over the place right now. So 232 at circa, 230.5 still available at some places. So it does look like it's around the same area. So that hasn't shifted too much. If we go to injuries, the bigs for the most part still out. So Gafford, Powell, Davis, Lively out. PJ Washington is questionable, and on the Lakers side, just Maxi continues to be out. So we go to moneyballer.com. Situational notes, mostly on the Lakers side here. The more rested team, double digit in season revenge. They are in a letdown spot here, though. They did beat the Nuggets as 6.5 point dogs in Denver. But to me, Skee, I mean, I'm probably going to stay away from this one just because there's not too much of a sample size with their current roster makeup and all that stuff, too. But for the most part, I I think that this is more of a playoff atmosphere type game with how the trade deadline went, right? I think these two teams are gonna kind of give it their all, give 100% on both sides of the ball. So I was thinking this would be an under type game if that's the case. What are your thoughts on this one?
Well, if it's um, I do think both teams care. I think Luca wants to have a good showing his first game, and I think his teammates. When I forget. I've heard multiple athletes say this. Candace Parker's one, but I've heard multiple. Like when you have a teammate who's going to face their old team, like you play for them. You play hard. Like you want
Yeah.
them to have success in that game. So I saw Dorian Finney-Smith say something along those lines, like the Lakers got Lucas back, et cetera, et cetera.
Hmm.
I do think you'll get energy and effort from the Lakers on both sides of the basketball. For Dallas, I feel the same way. More so because I mean they know everybody's been talking about this game, but off of that ass whooping they just got handed, like when you get embarrassed like that, like you got to show up. And I don't think Dallas is one of these teams that's like a bottom feeder, a tanker. Like they're still a team that's competitive and going to be in the playoffs, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that they can keep it competitive. I think they can cover the spread,
Hmm.
or at least that's how I'm feeling right now. I don't know that I'll bet it because honestly, as a fan, as a Lakers fan, born and raised in LA, I really would love to just enjoy that game,
Yeah.
and not be cheering for the Mavericks. But that's kind of how I feel right now.
Yeah, I could see it. I think big reason why I didn't see a huge advantage for either team or why I wanted to stay off of it is just because of all the personal stuff like you just mentioned. Everyone's gonna want to play for their guy. As far as like the stats and all that stuff, advantage wise, the only advantage that I see for either team is just rebounding for the Lakers over the Mavs, just because of the size. Other than that, I mean, there's no other advantage for either team. So for me, I'm just gonna stay away. I think I'm gonna enjoy this one just because, like I said, I think it's a playoff atmosphere type game, and to me, those are more under just more defensive. They're gonna take care of the ball a little bit better, and take care. They're gonna have longer possessions, trying to get the best offensive opportunity. So uh, nothing on the side, lean to the under. Let's go to the last game here. We got the Hornets and the Warriors. Um, the Warriors minus 16.
You don't even got to break this one down, bro. The Hornets are done. Hornets are
Okay,
done. They
let's
lost
look
by
at the.
50 something. They lost by just what four? What they lose by tonight?
They lost by like
Um,
40 almost, 35 or
Back
something
to
like that.
back 40, 50 pieces, bro. They're
Yeah,
done.
yeah,
They're not playing for anything. They don't care. You do not put your money on a team like this right now,
yeah.
especially on a back to back. Golden State is the complete opposite. Ever since they got Jimmy, they look like they got a whole new energy. It's looked good on offense, on defense. One way ticket. That's
One
it.
way ticket. Makes sense to me. I mean, just all of that plus the whole situational stuff. The Warriors got rest advantage. Hornets, fatigue spot. Their momentum is just totally. They didn't really have any momentum, but their offense just continues to struggle. Warriors defense is back to what it used to be. I mean, all the extra possessions with their free throw rate going up since Butler came in. This is like you said, Warriors. One way ticket towards the Warriors there.
B
Um,
man says it good right here, man.
no more home
Ever.
ever. And then Mark A comes with the all spread minus 20. I,
Yeah.
I I'm sure it's gonna continue to move, especially after tonight's performance. So all right, that's one way ticket there for the Warriors. All right, so that's all 7 games for tomorrow. We did break down most of them. I didn't. There's a couple that I didn't really care for. I know Skee didn't care for a couple either, but did as best as we can with the information that we have. Gonna take this off real quick. So once again, odds logic the odds page that we used with the injury report and all that stuff. That's in the link in the description. TheMoneyballer.com, the stats, insights, and all that stuff. That's over in the description as well. And you can see right there. We have our capper pages, WT.buzz /HP for Skee /RC for myself, and we have a coupon code for a 33% a 7-day NBA pass for either one of us. You could use that over at over at wagertalk.com. With that said, that is the promo. So, Skee, anything you want to leave for the viewers here?
I haven't played anything. Boston is appealing. Houston team total or Houston first half is appealing. Um, yeah, I'll leave with those right now.
All right, so the leans that for me, Celtics, Raptors under. I think that Rockets team total over made sense. Memphis is a strong lean. We got lean on the Dallas Lakers under, and then maybe just look towards the Hornets team total under on their side. Probably those would probably be the leans that I would leave for you guys as well. All right, so with that said, that is the end of the show. Before you guys cut out, though, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure you guys leave some comments after the show as well. That'll help our show continue to grow and let Wager Talk know that people are watching and that it's worth continuing. So make sure you guys do that for us. And then yeah, with that said, that's the end of the show. Whether you fade or follow, it is on you to make that call. Good luck with our reaction. Until next time, peace.